Evening and welcome back. If you care about how much you pay in taxes, how much prices rise at the store, and who actually benefits from economic policy in Washington, this hearing is one you need to understand. Before we dive in, make sure you subscribe to the channel so you do not miss coverage that breaks these moments down clearly and honestly.
Senator Wyden.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. Let me say to the nominee, I've got 4 questions that I'm going to ask, and if we both can keep it brief, I think we can get to all of them, because I think it really frames for us what the debate is all about. I'm going to start by talking about the future of Direct File. This is the program that helps our people who choose it to save hundreds of dollars when they file their tax return. Last year, the IRS launched it. It was enormously popular among taxpayers, but of course, the tax software giants and their big lobby just hate it. They want to shut it down. Now, the filing season starts January 27th, so it opens in 10 days, and millions of taxpayers around the country have already been notified that they are going to be eligible to use Direct File this year. So I won't do this for every question, but I'd really like a yes or no on this one. Will you commit to keeping Direct File up and running if you're confirmed?
I will commit that for this tax season, that Direct File will be operative, and the American taxpayers who choose to use it will. And if confirmed, I will consult and study the program and understand it better and make sure that it works to serve the IRS's 3 goals of collections, customer service, and privacy.
I appreciate the answer. It means that taxpayers are going to save, who choose to use it because it's voluntary, hundreds of dollars, and we'll have a chance to see once again how popular it is with practically everybody except the tax prep software crowd. On to tariffs. Donald Trump, with no plan and no strategy, says he's going to put across-the-board tariffs, blanket tariffs on all imported goods, which means that our workers and our small businesses are going to get clobbered with additional taxes on practically everything they buy from other countries. My question here is, who would pay these tariffs? Americans or foreign countries?
So this, Senator Wyden, just to understand, so I can frame the answer correctly, do you believe that these tariffs are a consumption tax increase?
I believe these tariffs, you can call it whatever you want in terms of trying to gussy it up. They're going to be paid for by our workers and small businesses. And all through the campaign, we heard they weren't, that foreign countries were going to pay it. I think that's baloney. It's going to be paid for by workers and small businesses. So, your response?
Yes, Senator, I would respectfully disagree. And the history of tariffs and tariff theory, optimal tariff theory, does not support what you're saying. Traditionally, we see that the current, if we were to say use a number that has been thrown around in the press of 10%, then traditionally the currency appreciates by 4%, so the 10% is not passed through. Then we have various elasticities, consumer preferences may change. And finally, foreign manufacturers, especially China, which is trying to export their way out of their current economic malaise, they will continue cutting prices to maintain market share.
Okay. That's an academic view of it. But what I know is the history of this is it clobbers people of modest means. They're the people who are going to get hit. And all through the campaign, there was a big show that it was going to be paid for by foreigners, not so. 2 other questions that I want to get in. And I already made it clear, and you and I talked about this. I'm for a tax code that gives everybody the opportunity to get ahead. You and I talked about my friend Bill Bradley. He and I have been working for this for years. Do you believe the tax code should treat wages differently than it treats wealth?
that, look, in any tax system that advantages and creates distortions, it is a change that, Senator, it is a decision that was made when the tax codes were written. And so every tax code involves the trade-offs and distortions in favor of other the gains.
It sounds to me like you do believe that it's fine to treat wealth more favorably. I couldn't disagree more. The idea that a dollar earned by a hedge fund manager has more value than a dollar earned by a teacher or a factory worker, I just think it's a disconnect with the American people. One last question, and that is about the legislation that was written in this room that was the biggest transformation on clean energy in American history. That is our package that basically said the tax code as it relates to energy is a broken down mess. And we basically said we're going to have a technology neutral system. The more you reduce carbon, the bigger your tax savings. Now there is a big effort in the Trump administration to reverse it. I think that's going to be bad for the economy, but it is going to be damn good for China because we are in an arms race on clean energy with them. Are you going to be on the side of people who want to unravel this?
Senator Wyden, just so we can frame this for everyone in the room, China will build 100 new coal plants this year. There is not a clean energy race. There is an energy race. China will build 10 nuclear plants this year. That is not solar. I am in favor of more nuclear plants. And I would note that the IRA, as scored by the CBO, is wildly out of control in terms of spending on the upside.
Well, first of all, the clean energy package does protect nuclear because members on both sides of the aisle in this room wanted it to be that way. But if you're going to talk about fossils, the United States has achieved a greater level of energy security than we've had in generations. Oil and gas production is at record highs. And it's not just that, but it's about clean energy. And I'm very troubled by your position denying that we're in an arms race with China on clean energy, because we definitely are. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
We do need to move on. And I told Senator Wyden he could have those.
Today's exchange between Senator Ron Wyden and Treasury Secretary nominee Scott Bessent was not just political theater. It was a real clash over who the federal tax system is supposed to serve, everyday taxpayers or powerful corporate interests. Wyden opened with a sharp focus on Direct File, a relatively new IRS program that quietly saved thousands of Americans hundreds of dollars last year. Last year, when Direct File launched, it was enormously popular. Millions of taxpayers used it, and many more were set to become eligible this year. The filing season opens January 27th, and notices have already gone out telling people they qualify. That is why Wyden pressed for a clear answer, not a speech, not a review process, just a yes or no. Would Bessent keep Direct File running if confirmed? Bessent's answer was careful, but telling. He committed to keeping Direct File operational for this tax season, which means taxpayers who choose it will be able to use it. That matters because shutting it down at the last minute would have caused confusion and potentially cost families real money. Wyden made sure viewers understood the stakes. This program is voluntary. It saves people hundreds of dollars, and the only group that truly opposes it is the tax preparation industry and its powerful lobby. That detail is important, so let us pause here and ask you to subscribe if you appreciate coverage that explains not just what lawmakers say, but why it matters to your wallet. What Direct File exposes is something most Americans rarely see. The tax system is not complicated by accident. Private companies have spent decades lobbying to keep it that way because complexity is profitable. Direct File threatens that business model by proving that filing taxes can be simple, free, and efficient. That is why this debate is not really about technology or logistics. It is about power. Then the hearing shifted to tariffs, and this is where the conversation moved from taxes you see to taxes you feel every day at the checkout counter. Tariffs are often sold politically as a way to punish foreign countries. You've probably heard the line, China will pay, Mexico will pay, foreign companies will pay. Wyden challenged that claim directly and asked the nominee a simple question: who actually pays these tariffs? Instead of answering directly, Bessent tried to reframe the question, asking whether Wyden believed tariffs were a consumption tax increase. That moment matters because it reveals a common Washington tactic. When a policy is unpopular, redefine it, rename it, gussy it up, as Wyden put it. Wyden was not having it. He cut through the language and said plainly that tariffs are paid by American workers and small businesses, not foreign governments, not overseas corporations. The costs show up in higher prices on everyday goods, from appliances to food to building materials. That is not theory. That is how tariffs work. Here's the part viewers often do not hear, so stay with me, and if this kind of explanation is helpful, subscribe to the channel for more. When a tariff is imposed, the importer pays it at the border. That importer is usually an American company. That company then passes the costs down the line. Retailers raise prices, manufacturers raise prices, farmers pay more for equipment, consumers pay more at the store. The foreign country does not write a check to the U.S. Treasury. You do. What made this hearing notable is that it connected two issues that are often discussed separately. Tax filing and tariffs may seem unrelated, but they both come down to the same question: who is the system designed to help? Direct File reduces costs for ordinary taxpayers and threatens corporate profit. Tariffs, when applied broadly, increase costs for ordinary taxpayers while offering political talking points. In both cases, the burden lands on workers and small businesses. If you want more coverage that goes beyond the sound bites and helps you understand how policy decisions affect your daily life, make sure you subscribe right now. As this confirmation process continues, the answers may stay careful and measured, but the consequences will be very real. Whether Direct File survives beyond this season, whether tariffs are expanded, and whether voters are told the truth about who pays, all of that will shape the economy Americans live in, not the one politicians talk about. Thanks for watching, and again, subscribe to the channel so you do not miss the next breakdown.